It would not have been necessary to establish a commission of investigation into certain matters pertaining to transactions entered into by IBRC if the government had properly answered questions here in the Dáil. And I've been asking these questions for over 3 years now. I'm going to repeat some of them again today. In 2012, Dr. Pierce Doherty and I submitted a range of parliamentary questions about IBRC. The responses were deliberately vague and obstructive, opaque. Some of these questions related to IBRC hiring Blackstone to advise them on the sale of assets. Now, as you well know, Blackstone is an American vulture capital group which was seeking to buy IBRC's loan book. So anybody could see the obvious conflict of interest at the heart of this arrangement. But the Minister, and indeed yourself, indicated in your responses that you had no difficulties with any of this. You also refused to answer questions about the fees which were being paid to these advisers, as did the Minister. And then in November 2011, you met the head of Blackstone, Stephen Schwarzman, and his associate, Gerry Murphy. And during this period, the government-appointed chair of NAMA's advisory board actually sought to appoint Gerry Murphy to this board. And again, the conflicts of interest are startling. And this appointment was abandoned after Sinn Féin parliamentary questions drew attention to the matter. But we still didn't get answers to the questions that we raised. So, Taoiseach, will you tell the Dáil what you discussed with the head of Blackstone, Mr. Schwarzman, or with Mr. Murphy? Did you raise concerns about the very obvious conflicts of interest in Blackstone taking on an advisory role with IBRC when it was already bidding for IBRC loans? And in your response to me, Tommy Cricknahan, to a leader's question in 2012 about the relationship between the Department of Finance and IBRC, you refused to answer my questions. But you did say the highest ethical standards were being employed. Do you still stand over this assertion?
Thank you.
Taoiseach.
Well, I think I met the person you mentioned on 2 occasions. We discussed the general state of the Irish economy and how things were moving in the right direction. It wasn't for me to discuss any individual company's business. In regard to the standards that you mentioned in respect of the Department of Finance, you're aware that the Minister for Finance met with your own Deputy Leader and the other either spokespersons or leaders of the parties yesterday to hear their proposals insofar as the Commission of Investigation is concerned. The issue here, Deputy Adams, was that Government were very anxious to get all of the information out to the public domain and into the House here as quickly as possible. And thank you. And the structure to do that was to ask the Special Liquidator to collate all of the files and present them to the Minister for Finance by the end of August, to be sent to the Public Accounts Committee, and that on their examination, if they requested a further independent investigation, that the law would be changed to allow the CNAG's office to do that. That strategy was overtaken by the events of the last fortnight, in particular in respect of the case in the court, and also because of the range of allegations and assertions that are made. I stress that nothing has been proven against anybody as being wrong in wrongdoing here. So that's why we're having a 2-day debate now on the terms of reference, which were approved by the Cabinet this morning and which were contributed to both by your own party and the other parties opposite, so that this matter can be dealt with authoritatively and independently by a judge to be nominated as a sole member in charge of this Commission of Investigation. So the Minister has been very flexible, actually, in the terms of reference, as you'll be aware. He's even gone so far as to say that if issues were being dealt with or contracted by IBRC before the Special Liquidator was appointed, that the flexibility is there to follow those particular transactions through. And also that if there are other particular issues arise that consideration would be given to those. So I think while the members here will have the opportunity now over the next 2 days to contribute to the debate, the intention here, Deputy Adams, is that the Commission of Investigation would be properly resourced, would deal with all of the issues that are set out between 21st of January 2009 and the 7th of February 2013, the date that the IBRC was liquidated. Obviously, the government look forward to hearing the propositions from the various deputies here over the next period, and let the Commission get underway and do its work. That is in the public interest, and that's something that the government supports very strongly.
Thank you. Deputy Adams.
This is the question I asked you, Taoiseach, in February 2012. The Irish Bank Resolution Corporation, the bank formerly known as Anglo, has retained the services of the Blackstone Group to advise it on the sale of 30 billion of loans it has across Ireland and Britain. How come these vulture capitalists are advising on this loan and are not precluded for bidding for the debts? They are advising on the sale but are bidding at the same time. Surely this is a conflict of interest which runs totally contrary to the Taoiseach's election promises to straighten out these issues and make them transparent. You then, in response, went on your rambles around Erin, never get any response at all to these issues, and then you come in here and you say that your intention all the time was to get all the information out into the public. The Dáil record with Teachta Murphy and with Teachta Pearse Doherty and with myself shows the exact opposite to be the case.
Please. Thank you.
When I put it to you, what you raised with Mr. Schwartzman and Mr. Murphy, you said it wasn't for you to raise any company's business. You are supposed to protect the taxpayers' interest. You're the Taoiseach. This is public money. The billions and millions that we're talking about belongs to the people. So I want to ask you again, Taoiseach, to give some clarity. And we don't need a commission of investigation. You met them. You've said now you met them on 2 occasions. What did you discuss with them?
Thank you.
The state of the Irish economy and the improvements in the Irish economy. The review, as you know full well, will consist of dealing. Well, I'm telling you, with all transactions, activities and management decisions which occurred between the 21st of January 2009, which is the date of the nationalisation of IBRC, and the 7th of February 2013, the date of the appointment of the special liquidators to IBRC. Now,
sorry, you can't have a point of order in reply to a question,
Deputy Murphy.
Please, Deputy.
He's not answering the question.
Please, Deputy.
Deputy Murphy.
I can't intervene in relation to answers to questions.
Deputy Murphy raised a number of issues here in the Dáil and followed them through very consistently. And the response of government was to collate all of those files to the special liquidator and present them to the House and to the Public Accounts Committee. Deputy Murphy made a very cogent argument in respect of a number of issues. The events have now transpired that we're having the Commission of Investigation, where all of these matters can be discussed and can be dealt with. Which meeting are you talking about?
Sorry, please. Through the chair. Deputy Fleming is next, please. Thank you.
As I said to you, I discussed the question of the improvement in the Irish economy and the actions the government were taking to drive that in the right direction. I would say that Deputy Murphy was very clear in her contribution here that she had checked her sources on more than one occasion and stood by them. And on that basis, and on account of the issues that have transpired here, we now have a Commission of Investigation with a broad and flexible set of terms of reference which have been contributed to by all members of the House and which will be debated over the next 2 days. And it's in the interests of the public and therefore the government to have this Commission of Investigation, give the sole member proper resources to do his or her job and get on with that. And the Minister for Finance will make the opening statement, I think, at 5:30.
Deputy Fleming.